Hi, this is Sarit Switzer, and welcome to the It Is Taught podcast, a podcast devoted to the teachings of Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi as recorded in his most famous work, the Tanya. My hope for this show is to make these teachings accessible and relatable to the average person, regardless of prior Jewish education or affiliation. The episodes follow the prescribed daily study portions and are meant to serve as practical lessons in how to live your life as your true self and develop an authentic and powerful relationship with your Creator. I have personally experienced the effects the study of this work has had on me, and I'm excited to share what I can of this knowledge with you. So please join me on this journey of learning, self-growth, and connection with your source. So we have made it to episode 19 of the It Is Taught podcast. This is the 7th of Teves during a leap year, and today we are going to conclude chapter 6. So we've been talking about this whole idea, this delving into the other side, delving into the animal soul, the makeup of the animal soul. And last time we talked about how the clothing that the animal soul wears, the three garments, the thought, speech, and action, what this really constitutes is any type of speech or thought or action that expresses something that is independent of God, expresses that a being has its own independent existence other than God. And so today we're going to talk about the reason why our world is thought to be the world of the Klipos and the Sitra Achra. So if you remember those terms, I'll mention them again. I'll try to always give a little recap. Klipos is the shells that hide godliness, and Sitra Achra is the other side. This is the side of other. God created certain beings and certain entities in the world to specifically in order to conceal him. And so our world is called that world that is filled with klipa and sitra achra. And that's why there's so much bad in our world. So if you look around the world today, it's far from perfect, and we all know that. And it's very tragic in a lot of ways. There's a lot of evil in the world, and it seems a lot of times like the wicked people prevail in this world. So now the Alter Rebbe here gives a little footnote, and he wants to just reassure everybody and make sure we're all staying sane with all of this. And he says that according to the Kabbalah, however, even though this world, sure, it's filled with klipos and hiddenness and whatever, this is an illusion, because our world does actually have within it the 10 holy spheres within it, the 10 holy energies, and those 10 holy energies specifically from the world of Asiya, which is our lowest world. That's the world that we come from. And in that world of Asiya, those 10 spheres of the world of Asiya contain within them the 10 spheres of the world of Yetzirah, which is the world that is one level higher than our world. And those 10 energies of Yetzirah contain within them the 10 energies of Bria, and which is the world that's above that. And those 10 energies contain within them the 10 spheres of Atzilus. And that's the highest of all the worlds. And Atzilus is the highest world within which the light of God is totally revealed in that place. So really, in fact, even though the point of this footnote is to explain that even though our world is indeed a world of true concealment and true hiddenness, nevertheless, it's not the reality. And the reality is that God does exist down here and is filling the entire world. And now the Alter Rebbe goes on to explain that there are actually two categories of klipos, of these shells, in terms of levels. So here he describes the lower level of the klipos, and then the other level he'll talk about it at another time. But so right now he talks about the lower level. The lower level is something that we mentioned previously. It's the 3 impure klipos. These are 3 klipos, 3 husks that are totally, totally impure, and there's nothing good about them at all. And in the prophecy of Yechezkel, where he saw a chariot, they were like called in that vision that Yechezkel saw. He alluded to them as being a very wild wind and a great, great cloud. So basically, it's like that it totally hides. It's like this really, these klipos totally hide God from them. And so what do these three Klipos bring about? What are they the source of? So they are the source of a few things. First of all, they're the source of the souls of all idolaters. They're also the source of the bodies of all idolaters, as well as all impure animals that we're not allowed to eat as Jews. And so too, and it's their life force and their bodies that it keeps them alive, these animals that we're not allowed to eat. And so too, any kind of food that we're not allowed to eat that's vegetative, like, so there's a lot of laws in kosher. So those of you who might not be so familiar with kosher laws, some people think that kosher is as simple as, like, not eating milk and meat or not eating pork, but there's actually a lot of laws that are involved in kashrus. And some of them involve the vegetative world too. So there's different things about different laws that he mentions here. For example, arla or kilaim. So this is where, you're not allowed to eat certain fruits, first fruit. So this is where if you have a fruit tree, you're supposed to wait 3 years before you can eat from that tree. Kilaim is where you're not allowed to mix together different types of, you're not allowed to crossbreed vegetation. And so too are these three impure Klipos, the life force of all thought, speech, and action that brings about any of the forbidden acts, the 365 prohibitions. So anytime a person, God forbid, engages in any one of the 365 prohibitions from the Torah or any of their offshoots, this life force that they get when they do so is coming from the three impure Klipos in the world. So that is the conclusion of today's Tanya. So in conclusion, we talked about how even though, yes, this world, like everything else, is ultimately only godliness, there is nothing except for God and everything. However, God did set up the world in such a way that he could be concealed. And the mechanism by which he did that is through something which he called sitra achra, the other side, and klipos, these husks. And this world is considered to be such a low world that conceals God so completely, our world in which we live, that it's called the world of the husks and the world of the sitra achra. And then we mentioned the fact that there are two different types of klipos, on two different levels, and we talked today about the lower level of the klipos, which is the three impure klipos, and we will talk about the other level next time. Okay, so we will learn about that tomorrow, and I will speak to you then.
Thanks for listening to the It Is Taught podcast, hosted by Sarit Switzer. This podcast is dedicated in loving memory of my maternal grandfather, Avraham Yitzchak ben Binyamin HaKohen of blessed memory. Music by Shoshana. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to support the show, please share it with others and subscribe on YouTube, Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And make sure to leave us a 5-star review. To find out more about the It Is Taught project, including more information on my soon-to-be published book, please visit our website, itistaught.com. To catch the latest from me, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Looking forward to speaking with you tomorrow, and until then, have a great day.